to our channel. Welcome. This is a very interesting way of how this is very interesting about this reading that I'll say to you all. Um, this is a very based on how everything seems to be. Everything is kind of be very interesting, very different and all that, right? And when I think about this reading, it kind of gives me a very like, oh, okay, everything will be all fine and dandy. But everything can be changed, right? You know, it's it's like having a good day and all of a sudden you're having that itsy bitsy kind of negative thing, right? And uh, and so that's what it seems to be. It's kind of like sort of dancing, okay? Um, when I began to dance, um, you know, it's very interesting on how I do it, right? And when I do it personally, I have that way of how I'm going to do that. You know, it is very practicing of how everything seems to be, and I know for a fact it is. But when you get that kind of little bit of feeling where your stomach is not feeling well, and all of a sudden it's like having that nervous breakdown, whatever it is, and you did something wrong and you shouldn't have, it kind of acts like that, right? It's you're trying to get familiar from a place that you never been to, like a pub, for example. Whenever you go to a pub, everything seems to be okay, but you have to get used to about the surroundings, the area, the people, everything else. But when you have that nervous inside of your stomach and you're not well, then it's like, um, what's the point about me being there, right? So it is very interesting of how that is, um, and that's what it seems to be because other words than that, you have to face your own facts. You have to face your own ability and understand well, what's going on. It's seeing that interesting way of how that is, right? Now, while you're going to see this reading, um, you have to remember that this is a very interesting way of how it is. You know, it's based on that. It's based on that criteria of how it seems to be. And it's very good about that. So keep in mind about this reading. Um, give it a like, uh, give it a comment. Um, yeah, so this is a random reading, but we're going to figure out what's going on. Okay, so this is what it seems to be. I hope everything will be all good, and I will get started with this going on, and that's what it seems to be. Okay, so here we go. All right. So the first stuff we're going to look at is the left side. So this is the left side, this is the right side. So let's see what's the left side is telling me. The turtle is take your time. Interesting. That's very interesting. You're taking your time. You know, you have to go slow, take your time. That's what it seems to be, right? On the right side, the coyote represents learn from your mistakes. That's an interesting card, isn't it? Yeah. Because you're learning about your instinct, your mistakes. Because you probably did something wrong. Maybe you did something that you shouldn't have been doing. It's that simple. It's that way of how that is. Now let's see about one of these cards. We have the Three of Earth is the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work, be a team player. Okay. And on the right side, we have the Two of Earth is too much going on at once, the need to make a decision, consider a more playful approach. That's what it seems to be. So basically on that, it kind of gives me that attention about what's going on with Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. It's based on how that seems to be, right? You have to be a team player. You can be considering more playful approach, something like that. But if there is too much going on at once, you have to think to yourself that, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Right? It's that simple. Now let's see what the angel cards are saying for the left side. The angel card for this one is take action. Okay, that's interesting. And what on the right side is the angel card represents yes. So, the answer you seek comes from within. You have to decide what you're looking for, decide about what's going on, you know, is based on that. This is not um this is not a truth reconciliation. It's not that. You have to believe that you can do this. You have to understand that when everything seems to be okay, everything's all right, yeah, so be it. But you must remember that you have to think in your own mind that you can do this. Think about how I'm using my cardigan as, the patterns I like, you know, I'm very good at, it makes me warm inside, whatever it is, right? But that feels me comfortable, right? It's not feeling me uncomfortable. But I like the design, I like the texture, I like everything else, right? And that's what it seems to be. This reading that I'm trying to say here towards you, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you have to pay attention to what's going on. Because this is a way of how you can understand about this. I'm not giving you a clap, or I'm not going to give you a pat on the shoulder, or I'm not saying yippee hooray. No, I'm not doing that. You have to process your own ability that you can do this. It's that simple. You have to remember that this is a very prioritized way that you can do this. It's that simple. It's that give and take situation about how that is. You can believe how this is going to be. This is my own take about seeing is believing, and you have to believe that in order to receive. You know, you have to remember that when things go upside down, it's like you have to put that into a different direction. You have to put that in a different way. It's not about me, it's about you. You have to pay attention. You have to listen to what I'm saying. It's that simple. It's that how that direction is. And let's face it, we're doing this together, right? I'm just telling you what to do, what the cards are saying. Because this is not over yet. Let me try to explain. So this is not over yet, right? Because you have take your time. You have the action card. You have be a team player. Now learn from your mistakes. You have the Two of Earth. Too much going on at once, and then you have the yes card as the angel number. Now I could stop this and keep going, but this is what's going on now. Now let's see what's going on here. Just like what I did with the other cards from last reading that I did. So I'll see what's going on from these two. What's going on from the side of this. And let's see. So in the middle we have the Page of Cups that's upright. Alright, interesting. Okay, that's interesting about this. What's on the side of by the action card? Okay, so we have Six of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, there is simple there is kind of like about timing here. This is how I'm trying to make it instead of break it. What that means is that you're trying to do what you can. That's what I'm saying. You have to believe that you can do this. Because I don't know if it's going to stop you. I don't know if you're going to have this courageability and say, am I doing something right here? This is the first card that we're seeing. That's the middle card that's upright. But when you have the Six of Pentacles reversed, that doesn't very help you, right? Now, what's the opposite of the Six of Cards, please? Six of Pentacles. You have the Seven of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, there's a little bit of priority here. You have to act like you are. This is what's going to seem to be. This is what it seems to be, right? You lost your career. You don't know what to do next, right? It's that simple. Now let's see what this card in the middle card is. The four of air is time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making decisions. Meditation may provide answers. That's simple there. So now you have the air signs, you have water signs, you have earth signs. The only missing is the fire signs here. So you have to remember that you can do this. Now let's see if I'm going to make this right. Let's see if I can see if one of these cards will be very interesting. And let's see if it's the opposite of learning your mistakes. But I'm going to put it right over here, right underneath the Four of Air. And let's see. So we have the Four of Wands is reversed. Okay, so I did say something that you're not traveling in. You're not well. Okay, so if it's okay, the Eight of Wands represents traveling, but But right now, the Four of Wands is like telling me like there's a different direction that you're doing. Now, let me read this. Let me read this Four of Wands reverse. Four of Wands reverse. There may be instability in the home or a transition to a new home. Do what you can to settle in, ground yourself in your current environment, even if it's a temporary home. Yeah. So you could have ability that you're changing into a new home, right? Now, let me go back to that pub story that I was. Now, when I go to pubs, I like to do karaoke's, and it's awesome, right? It's awesome. But when my stomach gets to that point where it gets nervous and you don't know what to do, and then all of a sudden you take a taxi and you're going back home. Well, the point being is that, like, what's the use of going to a pub while you have your stomach that is not working, right? And now you have nervousness, and then you're going to feel like you're unwell, and then it's like you have to settle your stomach, and then blah blah blah, right? So now when you go back into that situation about going to a new home, it's like you're missing that new home. You know what I'm getting at? Okay. You're missing your old home because you're moving into a new home. It's that simple, right? Because you're going to take action. You're going to take action. That's what it seems to be, right? So it's like you have to believe they can do that, right? Now, Now, what I'm saying about me and my stomach, and then about me going to different pubs and stuff to get used to it, the atmosphere, the surroundings, the people, everything else. You know, it seems to be okay. But when you stick to another pub that you really like, and you stay at a pub, and then you like it so much, and you keep going at it, it's like it's almost becoming like addiction or obsessive or something or possession. You can't stop yourself. You can't. You're going every single time to do that, right? So if you keep on that and you enjoy yourself doing that, then that's fine. But you must remember that you have to get your act together. You have to pay attention of what's going on. You know, this is what it seems to be. This is a very characterized situation of what's going on. Okay, and this is what it seems to be. So other than that, um, this is what it seems to be. Now let's see what's going on for the Page of Cups. That's revert. That is the opposite of the Two of Earth. The Six of Water. Now I know that could be a reverse card, but it's an upright card. It represents memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romantic romanticizing the past. So basically, you maybe have memories from your history or your childhood. Maybe you have issues from regarding children or whatever. You have that enticing moment where things can go from a different direction, right? It's now you get the feeling where, okay, you know, when I think back to my stomach, I like to think, okay, I'm feeling a lot better now, and I'm not so nervous now, right? It's like going into a crowd, and then you start to acknowledge where you're going to be into that spotlight, and then all of a sudden these random people will look at you dancing, you know, and all of a sudden they're watching you dance, and then you're being into a spotlight because they are they're you are the target of them, which means they are going to look at you as a target, and then they're going to keep following you because that's what it seems to be, right? That's what the nervous outcome is. You have to think about something rather than think about your stomach. That's what it seems to be. So it's like when you think about that based on where you're moving from an old home to a new home, plus you're thinking about your memories from from your history or your childhood or romanticizing the past, you know, you're doing all these things. So when you think about this and you think, okay, everything is all fine, dandy, and everything is all about good and yeah. But there are times where you have to do this, right? It's that outcome where you can get things done. You can analyze about how everything seems to be, and that's how it seems to be. So this is still not over. We're going to still figure out what's going on. So what's the opposite of Page of Cups? That is the Six of Water. Okay, the Knight of Water. Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, contemplative, falling in love, or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, an invitation to a social event. Exactly. So now, now let's say you are basically invited to, let's say, for example, about a wedding. Now that's a special event. A wedding is a special event. So now you have, no nervous breakdown from your stomach anymore. Now it's like now you're thinking, okay, what should I do? Should I be the the caterer with all the desserts and all that stuff, or should I be a ring guy, whatever it is, something that is very different, right? You have to think about what's going on, right? So when I think about this, it's like this is what it seemed to be, right? So when you think about this and you think that okay, everything's all fine, dandy, whatever it is, that's what it seems to be. It's that motivation where you can impose that way of how everything seems to be, right? So this is what it seems to be now. So now we're creating a big, huge, a huge picture now, right? So now you have the Four of Wands, but still representing, the air signs. The earth signs are combining into the water signs. So now it's Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. But these two, of the Six of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles reversed, now we still have to figure out about that still. But let's see about this one. Let's see what's the opposite of the Three of Earth, the Four of Water. So now it's missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. Exactly. You have to open your eyes to the possibilities. You know, like going to a wedding or going to a pub or, you know, you have to have that ability where you can get things done. You know, overall you're taking your time and then you learn from your mistakes. You know, it's that how that outcome is. This is what it seems to be. So it's still having that outcome where everything seems to be okay, all right. but you have to figure this out, right? Now, let's see what's the opposite of the Six of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles reversed. The Chariot. The Chariot is the Archeon Metron, an important achievement, self-discipline, and willpower, public recognition. Exactly. So now you have that where, you're basically on your way. Take your time when you go to a wedding. Maybe you learn from your mistakes. Maybe you did something that maybe you said, I don't know, a bad word in your I don't know, into your vows or something that would be very, very different, because you have to have that public recognition where you believe that when everything is peace and quiet and everything is about that, it's that mobility of how everything seems to be, right? Because you still have to take action. You're saying yes. You're looking at all of this now, and that's what it seems to be. So it's like this is what is going to happen now, where I'll do one of these cards, and then I'll do a playing card, and I hope it will be the end of this reading. But this is what it seems to be, because this is what's going on, and you have to believe that you can do this. So let's see what's going on for the opposite of take action and the yes card. The Three of Wands. Yeah, so did I say something will represent the fire signs? Yes, it does. So now that represents the fire signs. So Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. It goes back to you now. It's because the Four of Wands was reversed, so now you have the Three of Wands is upright. So it's like everything that is based on here, it's like that's what it seems to be. It's like you have to impose that situation, right? You have to know the facts. Now, what's the opposite of the Three of Wands? That represents the Yes card. And you have the Six of Wands reversed. Yeah, so, this is what it seems to be now, because now you have the earth signs, you have you have you have the earth signs, the fire signs, the water signs, right? So you basically have 9 zodiac signs here, plus the air signs. So now you have four, so 4, 8, you have basically 12 zodiac signs in this picture, okay? Now, I started off with one card, another card, another card, another card, but it piles up like a picture, right? So now you understand what I'm saying now. It's based on that, very satisfying way of how this is. It's basically telling me that when I look at this, it gives me that momentum of how everything seems to be. Because that's what it is, right? It's that interesting way of how everything is going to show up, right? Because when you go back to the stomach situation, that I have, having nervous stuff and getting around surrounded by pubs and all that, then it's like you're going from an old home to a new home, so you still have that stomach feeling that you're going to get sick. But you have all these things where there could be an invitation to a special event, like a social event, like going to a wedding, Is that criteria of how everything seems to be. That's what it seems to be, because this is what it kind of happens, where you have to have that public recognition. People have to see that in their own eyes. People have to see that in that different aspect of what's going on. It's that simple. It's that way of how everything seems to be. Because when you look at this, it's like, wow, now you know. That's what it seems to be. Now, I will tell you something, is that whenever I use my playing cards, it will represent who's following you or who's doing this, right? So let's see. So what's going on in this picture? Oh, wow. So you have the four of clubs. Yeah. So that represents Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. So that represents the fire signs. So basically, the four of clubs, that's what it seems to be for that. So this is what it seems to be. Understand about how this is, because this is what is going on when you have a different way, a different outcome, a different satisfaction, right? Because if you decide of how it's going to be, you have to remember of what's going on. You have to have the ability to understand what I'm saying. That's what it seems to be. Because, in other words, it's like you have to look at what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for what's going on in this reading, right? That's what it seems to be. Because, in other words, it's like you're doing the best as you can, but you have to keep going and going and going and going. So you have to look at that. And that's what I have for you. So I hope everything seems to be. Thank you very much. Have a fabulous day and enjoy. Thank you very much and have a good day to you all. Thank you. Bye.